Hey guys, welcome back to the United Star. And as we all know, it's been a dismal performance, horrible by the side, especially the way, after Crystal Palace, we expected them to bounce back. They just beat Luton, but it was just another step down. Prasham, let's just go through the player ratings. We saw how emotional it was when we lost against Crystal Palace between you and Abby. And there comes a point where emotion goes out of the window, and it's just, as you mentioned, the club is finished, the legit title to our previous video. So let's get into it. David De Gea, I think he made one crucial save, or maybe.
Ishesh, just before getting into it, I want to say one thing. One there is sadness, disappointment. Now there's hopelessness, and when there is hopelessness, it shows on the pitch. The players are also they also feel the hopelessness. It's not you don't live in a bubble. This you talk about the players living in a COVID bubble. They are not living in a bubble that the news doesn't enter and these things don't enter. They know what's happening with the club. They know the manager needs new players, and all these things play on their minds. They're human beings at the end of the day, and this is what we've seen, that this has happened because of that, in my opinion. It's a simple reason, that because Manchester United are just the whole morale alongside the club is useless, and apart from that there are no ideas. The coaching is horrible, and the players also need to take a hard look at themselves. I keep repeating this, but come on, man, you're world class players, you're getting the highest wages in the country, and if you put this out against Brighton, if you have to rely on a Neil Mope mistake against Brighton, I don't know what to say.
So
But let's get into the player ratings
yeah.
with David De Gea. I'd give him a 5. It's nothing much to do. Nothing like one decent save. The only thing, again, the positive is he's looking more and more confident in the box. He's shouting at players. That's the only thing I'd say. Give him a 5, a standard 5, because I don't think he could have saved any of the goals that went in. But yeah, nothing to say much about De Gea.
I know who the worst performer is in the defense, according to me. So I'm not going to start with him. I want to start with Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw, 3. 3. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you a simple 3, because there was no control from the back. We want to play out of the back, but all I saw is us losing the ball and Brighton dominating us. Luke Shaw was not good at all, in my opinion. He tried moving forward, he tried taking up spaces, but nothing. Luke Shaw, 3.
Uh, the great Victor Lindelof.
2. 2. Nothing to say. Absolutely nothing to say. Not marking his men, not marking his men. And the first goal, I know Bruno, again, I think Rishi mentioned this in the review. Bruno should not be the last man of defense. Where the positioning of Lindelof and Maguire, I don't get. I think Lindelof does not understand positioning and Maguire understands it, but because he's so slow, he cannot reach. So again, 2. I'm very disappointed. I don't think, just a standard, I don't think anyone in this team is going to get more than 5 or 6 from me today.
So the man who got us out of jail 2 times, Mr. Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire, 4. That's it. 4. And 4, I'm being generous, because he finally headed the ball well. He got a goal. So, I mean, you have to give him credit for that. But defensively, absolute shite. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant in terms of being useless. This man is a fridge on wheels, as we've said, and he cannot move. Imagine a Brighton team, given that they have pace, but imagine a Brighton team dominating a Manchester United defense with Manchester United club captain and England number 1 centre back, Harry Maguire, in it. Just imagine that situation, tell it to anybody, and if they don't laugh, I'd be surprised. It is hilarious how slow he is, not only on while chasing players, but also on the ball. He slows the game down. I don't know what he thinks. He's Paul Scholes, that if he takes 3 touches more, he's going to find the pass that's going to win us the game. But fair play to him. He got the goal. He actually headed the ball. But like I said, I cannot give any player more than 5 or 6, because a big part of my ratings is mentality as well. And the mentality was shit. And if anyone tells me, oh, we came back and win, boy, you didn't watch the game. This was like Norwich City beating Man City last year. It was
Let
exactly
me
like.
let me just say something out here, and then I'll go to the last player that I wanted to discuss. This is the same defense that was the best in Europe last season, or second best in Europe, and
It's
only
in the head
conceded
with it.
only conceded 36 goals, and they've already conceded 5 in 2 games. So
And could have been more today. How many shots that hit the woodwork on another day? All of them could be goals. We could be talking about a 5-1 loss to Brighton today.
I think the man of the match for us was probably the woodwork, and I would give it a 10 on 10.
10
But
on 10.
But moving to the defender, I think who last season was probably called the best player till COVID. He was probably running to be player of the season.
Don't
Aaron
big him
Wan
up.
Bissaka.
Zero. I'm going to give him a zero. Because I'll tell you, going forward, there were two times where he tried to run with the ball and in our own, next to our D, he lost it. He lost it
No,
right there.
Prashant. What I think has gone wrong with Aaron Wan Bissaka is he was great defensively last season, right? We cannot argue that. But the amount of pressure the club maybe or the fans or the media has
To
put
go
put
forward,
on
right?
in terms of going forward, he's
But Vishesh,
concentrating
don't you
way
have to
more
grow
on
as
that.
a player? But don't you have to grow as a player? Like,
You
are you so
you do,
either
Prashant.
you tell me that he's not good enough then.
No, no, no. My point is, it's just that he's concentrating so much on going forward that he's forgetting his defensive duties, which is
I
completely
don't think.
incorrect. And it's not justified in any manner whatsoever.
See, the problem is again mentality. It goes down to mentality. If you can't handle that pressure from whoever is giving you that pressure and you can't step up your game, then I'm sorry, what are you doing at this club? Or then it's the other way around that we as fans and we as a club have to say, no, we are a mid-table club, and if we finish in the top four, oh, it's a great result for us. That is the other way to look at it. It's one of two things. He's come from Palace, and he has to step his game up. He has to step his game up. If you want to play for Man United, you have to step your game up. I'm not expecting him to give 10 assists a season. I'm not expecting that, but a simple 2 yard pass, come on, man, come on. Vishesh, I would make those passes, and I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, the defense has been shambles the first two games, but let's move ahead. I think Matic was one of the positive players on the pitch. What's your take on him? I wouldn't say he's like a 10 on 10 or like a 6 on 10, but he was one of the
Standard
positives in the
four, a
loss.
standard four for him, because the best player on the pitch as well doesn't get more than a 5 or 6 for me. And I think Maguire and Matic vie for that spot. Matic clearly improves our team. I don't want to go on and on and on about it. Yes, he was good. I didn't like the tackle he committed right after the goal we conceded. It felt like in that brief moment we were showing signs that we've lost our heads. And players like Matic, Maguire, Bruno need to step up, being the relatively more senior players in the team. They're the ones who need to step up, and none of them did. So Matic again for, because I'm telling you, Vishesh, if the mentality is not there, I can't rate a player. I don't rate a player who's mental. I would rather take a player who is 60% on skill but 100% on mentality than a player who's 80% on mentality and 50% on skill. You'd rather take a player with good mentality.
I agree with you. Moving forward to Paul Pogba, he's just been off. I didn't see him.
See, this is the exact kind of thing. This is the exact thing. Paul Pogba is 100% on skill and a 50% on mentality. you know that's the exact problem. That is the exact thing that I'm saying. I keep saying he's the best midfielder in the world on talent. Yeah, that's it. I haven't seen him perform consistently for 5 games in a row apart from that World Cup. So either he just should be a super sub or something, either he cannot do it for an entire 90 minutes, or Paul Pogba needs to decide whether he wants to be a serious footballer or somebody who will be talked as if, one of those players who what they could have been. That's it. The time has come in his career. He's no more young. There is no pressure on him anymore. Entire media has been looking at the likes of Sancho and everything, and nobody's on the back of Paul Pogba anymore. He's got a world-class midfield in Bruno Fernandes and Nemanja Matic. I don't know what his problem is. Last game he was recovering from COVID. This game I don't know what he's recovering from, but absolutely atrocious. And I'm going to give him a 1 or a 2. You can decide which one you want to pick. It doesn't matter.
I'm not going to pick in this case because the team's just been atrocious. And I mean, the lower you rate them, that's also a high number. But I'm going to say something that I'm irritated with, and that's Bruno Fernandes. I think he's
Oh,
getting.
Bruno Fernandes, Vishesh, Bruno Fernandes, before you say anything, I'm very the most disappointed player on today's game with Bruno Fernandes. His passes were off, his shooting was nowhere to be seen. All of that I can understand. But in the last 2 or 3 games, even in the Sevilla game, I had said this, he's losing his head. And he gave that penalty away, cheap penalty to give away, not necessary in that area. And he gave it out of frustration. He literally tackled out of frustration. It wasn't that even he okay, I understand, you're going for the ball, or it's like, full attempt to win the ball and then you give away a penalty. There was nothing. He just did that tackle out of frustration and anger. and I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I fail to understand what has gotten into these players, what is wrong with these players, where
So
what is.
again, Prasham, when I think of Bruno Fernandes, the issue that I'm facing, how he's representing himself now in media. I mean, you perform badly. You've performed badly. Do not come out and say that what matters are the goals and not how many times you hit the woodwork. That team clearly outplayed you. Don't try to shun them down. Give them the respect that they deserve. You go out in media and be like penalties are not a easy thing to do. We know that, but show that in the game. Show your game. We haven't bought you just to take penalties. So why don't you make the creative runs, do your duties? What's happened to the side? I don't know, because this is the identical side that played Brighton when we came back from COVID, and we beat this side 3-0 in a span of five months or maybe 4 months. We've we've spiraled down so badly that it's not even a joke. It's either
But
we have
Vishesh,
spiraled down or teams have just improved, and I don't think that's the case.
I will tell you what, when you come to the last rating of the manager, I will explain that why we've lost this game.
Moving ahead, Mason Greenwood.
Stan, I give him a four. Had a goal disallowed, had an assist that Rashford scored disallowed. So he created a few chances, but again, was he even there? Like I don't even know, man. To how to rate our front three, I don't even know. Yeah, Rashford got the goal, but I don't even know how to rate them. It, non-existent, not creative, no incisive runs, no service, nothing, nothing.
Tony Martial.
Three. We've bigged him up to be United's number nine. We've said that he's potentially better than Timo Werner. You know what? Dominic Calvert-Lewin looks like a better player than Tony Martial right now, and I'm not even exaggerating. Look at the service. Getting the service, at least he finishes the chances. He makes the runs. Tony Martial, when I said this before, I don't know if I've said it on camera. When the going is good, Tony Martial is a great player. When the going gets tough, Tony Martial is an average player.
But I think Tony Martial summed up how Manchester United feels when he was being subbed off. You could see the difference in his expression when we were in that great form post COVID vis-a-vis right now. We saw that old Martial back with no laugh on his face, dead serious, pissed off, and that's how all of us feel right now. But let's move ahead to the last player, Marcus Rashford.
You have to give him a four, don't you? He got a good goal. That was the only goal that was decent. He cut two players, but you know what? If the defender wouldn't have got that deflection, I think the keeper saves that. But let's he got the goal. I'm going to give him a four, maybe a five, you can say. But again, there are three instances I remember, Vishesh. Three where he was running with the ball and he just lost it. Like it's not that the defenders tackled it; he's just lost it. Like he's left the ball and he's yet running. And this is not the first time it's happened. I don't know if it's again. I keep going back. It's a mental thing that he's come back from the injury and he feels scared to go into it fully. If that is the case, only Ole can sort it out. And that is what. Before even you ask, I'm going to go straight into the manager thing. I'm straight going to rate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and I'm going to give him a zero, absolute zero. And I'm going to explain point by point why. Firstly, you said that this is the same team that beat Brighton. That is the problem. It is the same team that is playing again. There's no difference. There is no difference between 4 months ago and right now. Not a single tactic, not a single set play, not a single player, not so that is down to the board, of course, but not a single movement is different from what it was before. Even if you play me again, if you are the best team in the world, you're the best player in the world, even if you do the exact same thing 10 times, the 11th time even an idiot will stop you. And this is Brighton, which is not a bad team. Ben Dunk and Webster, these are not bad. Ben White also now, these aren't bad defenders. These are big Premier League proper defenders who are there for a reason because of their size and their might. And that is the first problem with Ole, that he's one dimensional, he's got no plans and he has no ideas. The second is the mentality. Do you think that Sir Alex Ferguson would have let this fly on the pitch? Do you think a Pep Guardiola or a Jurgen Klopp or even a Jose Mourinho lets this kind of performance fly on the pitch? The Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sits there with his legs crossed and watches TV. He might as well come next to me, sit on my couch, and we both will watch together. He just sits there and does nothing. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does nothing. And I'm not on the Ole out bandwagon. I'm not. I want to back him because I don't want managers to come and go and we have those spurts of good performance and then we are back. We need consistency. We need continuity. But it's high time that he's the one. He's the one where the buck stops at the end of the day. You don't sign players. You don't do anything. He's the one that where the buck has to stop. That is my point. When he sends a team out on the pitch, you tell me, Vishesh, from that team, you take Lindelof out, okay, and take Shaw out maybe. Aren't the other nine players world class?
I
Then why? Then aren't they world class? Forget the signings, forget everything. The nine players that were there on the pitch were world class. Did they look world class or they looked garden variety players?
Prasham, honestly speaking, I right now I agree to a big extent with what you're saying, but it all comes down to two things, and I would like to end it on this point. I mean, mentality, as you said. Solskjaer comes out and says, first of all, we have to be thankful that Jose wasn't here or Jose wasn't here because to measure the goalposts. Why are you taking a dig at a manager that's not there, who's probably doing better than you at another club? What is your issue in life? Just care about your game. You then come out and say they were the better team, but we had more character. No, you did not. Just heading
No,
the ball on someone's hand in the 98th minute and depending on VAR does not show character, my friend. That is
no,
not
you
how
had
things
more character. No, Avishesh, you had more character if you agree that the Brighton is a bigger team than Man United.
yeah, exactly. And I would like to end it again, and I'm ending all my videos on this point because I don't care whether United sees this channel and I like fuck this channel or whatever. Woodward and Matt Judge, if they're seeing these performances and they're like, yeah, bro, we're good, we don't need more people. I don't know what to say. They're sitting in the stands day in and day out. They know the team needs reinforcements, and this is a story over and over again, Prashant. Mourinho got us to top four, wasn't supported after that. Ole has got us to top four. He's just got Van de Beek, and we all know Van de Beek is how much ever I respect that player, and I think he's a great addition to the squad. He's not the only player who's going to make us grow. This is the same 11. We do not believe in our substitutes, which was made very clear during the post-COVID time. So why haven't Matt Judge and Ed Woodward worked towards getting in those players? Why are we waiting for the last 10 days? I think if that's the case, this club is destroyed anyways. Rio Ferdinand came out and said in 2013 he knew the club has already gone down the drain. Patrice Evra is saying Matt George is not picking up phone calls
Vishesh,
of
I'm
big
just going to
players.
cut you here. Vishesh, I'm just going to cut you here and say that every game that we've done a preview, review, or whatever, we've spoken about Matt Judge or Ed Woodward or Glazers. And that says a lot more. When you're talking about post game reaction and you're talking about the board, I think it sums it up. And I don't think there is any point in going on and on about it because at the end of the day, for me, in the 90 minutes, the nine players, as I said, are world class and they should be doing the job.
I agree with you, and I think that could be a different video altogether if we want to talk about Matt George and Edward Wood. But guys, that's about it. Another unconvincing win, but the only positive I see, at least the season's kicked off finally with a win. We have the 3 points on the board. We won't be in relegation battle at least for the next game week or so. But do let us know what you think about the players. And as you can see, the camp is really deflated. So hopefully, we pick up against the same opposition come Wednesday. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye bye.